This is a story about a 9th century Tamil poet. This is the story of how the foxes became horses.
Just as Om is the sound symbol of God, the Linga is the form symbol or the visible symbol of God. The Linga is the most meaningful and simplest symbol of God as well. Linga means that in which this Jagat, world of change, attains life, mergence or dissolution. Yet, all forms merge in the formless at last. Shiva is the principle of destruction of all names and forms, of all entities and individuals. And so the Linga is the simplest sign of emergence and mergence. There are many devotees who have attained salvation at the feet of Lord Shiva and the Shiva Linga. Let us tell you the story of Saint Manikavasika. Let's go back to the 9th century to a city called Madurai, then known as Pondianad.
A young boy named Vadavura, at the tender age of 16, had mastered all the sacred scriptures and arts. His thoughts were focused towards the attainment of salvation at the feet of Lord Shiva. He prayed to Lord Shiva to show him a guru to fulfill his wish of attaining salvation. The news about Vadavura's accomplishments reached the ears of Arimartana Pandian, the king who made Vadavura his chief minister. Arimartana Pandian conferred Vadavura the title of Tennavan Brahmaraya. Vadavura proceeded to guide the king in administering the kingdom efficiently. One day, Arimartana Pandian heard that good Arabian horses had been brought in by traders to coastal Cholata. The king gave Vadavura the assignment of buying the horses for his army. The king gave Vadavura a lot of gold coins to purchase the horses.
As Vadavura was on his way to buy the horses the king had asked, he passed by a town called Tiruperumdurai. Vedic hymns were being chanted as Vadavura passed the town, and he was attracted to them. A glorious old man was sitting under a kudala tree and was surrounded by his disciples, and they were all chanting these glorious Vedic hymns. Vadavura had a sudden realization. He understood that.
He is my Jagat Guru. He will be able to guide me on the path attaining liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Vadavura fell at the feet of the old man, realizing that they would be able to guide his quest to attaining salvation. When I look at you, I can God his path abide. At the feet of the old man, realizing that they would be able to guide his quest to attaining salvation. When I look at you, I can easily see the dancing Lord Shiva from Chidambara, as well as my Lord in the form of Dakshinamurti, departing true knowledge to Sanahanti saints. Please accept me as your disciple. The Lord accepted Vadavura as his disciple. And soon, Vadavura forgot his past of buying horses. Instead, he spent his time building a beautiful temple for Lord Shiva with the gold coins the king had provided to him to buy the horses at Chalata. Lord Shiva was delighted with Vadavura's dedication and devotion. He praised Vadavura in the avatar of an old Brahmin.
Your songs are full of sweet words, so perfect in their meanings and rich in their language. Since you have chose the best gems of words to praise me, from now onwards you will be known as Manikavasika.
Vadavura happily stayed with the old Brahmin, who was Lord Shiva in disguise,
and composed Tiruvasagam. There is a proverb in Tamil that goes, "One who does not melt for Tiruvasagam will not melt for any Vasagam." Tiruvasagatuக்கு உருகாதோர் ஒரு வாசகத்துக்கும் உருகார்.
Oh Lord, I want to continue to use the gold coins for good measures, such as rebuilding Shiva temples rather than use it to build armies. By rebuilding temples, I will be able to help everyone in the future fight their inner enemies and overcome illusionary worldly attractions and obtain salvation at your feet.
While he was praying, Lord Shiva, who was moved by his devotion, spoke to Manikavasagar.
Do as you wish.
Manikavasagar built a majestic temple to benefit all embodiments of love for centuries to come, rather than buying horses to strengthen the army of Pandya Nada for a short time with Lord Shiva's wish. As time passed, the king sent a messenger looking for his minister and the horses. The messenger returned to the king with the news that his minister had spent the gold coins rebuilding temples and feeding the Lord's devotees and the poor in Tiruparanturai. The king became extremely angry upon hearing the deeds of his minister and spread the order that he expected the minister to return at once to the kingdom and that he bring with him the horses. When the news of king's order reached Vadavura, he prayed once again to Lord Shiva. He expressed to the Lord that he done only what he believed was necessary to his devotees in this world. He asked Lord Shiva for the strength to bear any outcome with him in his heart. Once again, because of the faith and devotion, the Lord answered Vadavura's prayer.
I will bring the horses to the kingdom on Avani Mula.
The Lord wanted to show that patience and perseverance was needed in his worship. He did not bring the horses at once, and that made the king increasingly angry. Due to the fact the horses did not appear, the king arrested Vadavura and began to punish him by various means. Eventually, the mischievous Lord transformed the foxes of the forest into horses and had them delivered to the king. Although the same night they were delivered, the horses became foxes again and attacked the horses in stable and ran away. This only made the king more punishing. He kept Vadavura tied to rocks in the middle of River Vaidhi under the scorching sun. The Lord, who would not let Vadavura suffer after he surrendered himself to him as a devotee, made the Vaidhi River flood and come over the banks to cool him. The king did not want the Vaidhi River to flood the banks anymore, as it made his punishment impossible. He ordered his people to raise the banks of the river. Every family in the kingdom was expected to help raise the banks. One poor elderly old lady could not fulfill the king's order. To save her from the king's punishment, the Lord himself came to help her as a laborer. He offered his help to the elderly, and in exchange, all he asked for was cooking. The elderly lady was able to do this, as she already practiced marvelous love by feeding parentless children who she saw God with.
Once again, the Lord could not help his playful ways and began playing tricks on fellow villagers who were working to raise the banks. When news of his pranks reached the king, he ordered his men to punish him for spoiling the work. Soon, the king realized the great mistake he had made. When the men hit the laborer, all embodiments of love, including the people and the king himself felt the pain that was meant to punish labor. The king, upon realizing his mistake, fell at the feet of the laborer, asked for forgiveness. The merciful Lord subdued the flooding and blessed his devotees and disappeared. The king soon realized the glory of Manikavasagar is as the Lord himself came to save him due to his devotion.
Saint Manikavasagar left his post as minister and traveled to various temples and spent his time composing many hymns praising his Lord Shiva. According to Ramana Maharshi, it is said that when Manikavasagar died, his body dissolved into a blinding light without leaving a corpse behind. Although we have Mahashivaratri once a year, we have Shivaratri every month dedicated to the worship of Lord Shiva. If special effort is made that night through more intensive and vigilant spiritual practice like puja, japa or dhyana, ritual worship, or one-pointed repetition of holy names or meditation, success is ensured. Shiva alone has to be meditated upon that night without the mind straying to words, thoughts of sleep or food. Jai Sadhu.